Hello, and welcome to Retrospecting My Life, the show where I give a behind the scenes to the videos that either didn't get one or didn't get the one they deserved. I'm Marlon Benai, the creator and founder of Gamerboy Media, and today we are going to be going over one of my older videos from my first channel many years back called Final Last Words. If you haven't heard of this one, not much of a surprise. It wasn't really a popular one, but there is a very good reason why I chose this out of all of them. This, in my opinion, is one of my most creative that I've ever done, and you'll hopefully see why pretty soon. So as these usually go, we're going to watch through it all the way through one time, and I'm going to talk over the top about the story and, inspiration, things that went into making it, and then we're going to watch through it again, but I'm going to pause and rewind and fast forward, all that fun stuff, to go in depth to show you how I created the video. So let's watch through. There we go. So the story behind this video is pretty interesting. All of the main story, everything before Jake comes in later on, I came up with in about 42 seconds of absolute fear. So basically, I'm lying in bed at one night, it's 3 in the morning, and I thought I heard the front door close. And my mind starts racing, thinking about all the things that could possibly go wrong. Somebody's in the house, somebody's here to kill me. I'm the first door in the hall, so I'm going to die first. I think I actually did a vlog on this, but I'll tell you again. While my mind is running through all of these possibilities, I end up creating this story of, instead of the guy killing me with like a gun or something like that, he ends up chopping me in half with a sword or lightsaber-esque thing. And instead of dying, I have some time before I bleed out, so I need to crawl across the room to my laptop, get online, and, post my last words. And actually, funny enough, the first two things that came to my mind were Dante's Inferno and Patrick Swayze's last line in Ghost, which you're going to see in just a minute. I'm going to assume that you've watched this ahead of time, so I'm not going to keep correcting myself here. That sounds horrible. I remember that phone, wow. So, after I made this video, oh, good timing here. After I made this video, Hannah, my friend Hannah, who has agreed to play Linda for this project, Hannah had an English project that she needed my help with. She had to recreate a scene from Romeo and Juliet in modern day. And, yeah, that sounds a lot more ridiculous than now that I say it out loud. She ended up doing the balcony scene, and she remade it as an internet chat room, which I thought was really cool. It was kind of like the movie You Got Mail with Tom Hanks. Both of us thought it was pretty funny, but sorry, it's hard to concentrate with me talking in the background. So Hannah needed my help with the project, but not with editing or anything like that. She just needed me to act, and I am a horrible, horrible actor. I am not good at acting in other people's projects. I can get away with moderate acting in my own stuff because I know what the final project is going to look like. I cannot act for other people to save my life. I'm sorry. And so, a little after she finished the project, my church had a talent show for the youth group, and she decided to show the video to the youth. And many of them had never seen me in a video before, but knew I was a filmmaker, so this is the first thing they're going to see of me, and yeah, I was not happy with that, to say the least. That was not good for me. And so, in the next 3 to 4 days before the talent show, I created this video, Final Last Words. Oh man, I forgot about the board in the background. Okay, I'll get back to that. Alright. In 3 or 4 days, I created this entire video. Very, very long nights. I could only film this at night, and so I think I got maybe like 8 or 9 hours of sleep throughout those couple of days. So yeah, that's the story behind Final Last Words. Okay, so some of the things that you need to know before we get into this. One, everything prior to this, when the lights are all turned off, all of that was actually filmed in a very well-lit room because my camera cannot handle low-light situations. Basically, the way it worked was I filmed everything in a very bright lit room, and I had all the lights pointing up the ceiling, so that way it would have very even shadows. and, you know, nothing super harsh or direct, and nothing too extreme. And that way I could add a filter over the top of it to make it look darker in post, and it wouldn't add a bunch of noise to it, which you can kind of see, like, in the darker areas of the screen, you can kind of see, like, this noisy effect that would have been everywhere if I tried filming in the actual lighting. Sorry, the throat is closing up all of a sudden.
Finally, it was over. Finally, rest in peace.
So the reason why this is one of my most creative projects is because this was in the time when I didn't have any friends who could help me at any given notice. So like nowadays I have... Oh wow, I didn't realize I had this logo on it. Nowadays I have a good pile of people who would be more than willing to help me at a moment's notice, but at this time I didn't have that. You know, we didn't have cars, we didn't have licenses or anything like that. Or the only way that I could do like fun special effects back in this time was I had to somehow get creative with the camera work and basically just make it myself somehow. And so that's why I'm working on this project, or that's why I wanted to show you guys the behind the scenes on this now, which I never got to do years ago because there was so much fun stuff that I had to cram into a couple of days to make this video, and I think you guys are really going to like it. So let's go through it, shall we? Right off the beginning, I wanted it to be like very horror-esque, and so very little of this I can actually explain. But again, realize that all of this is filmed in a very bright room. So all of this entire scene, super bright, super well lit, and then just manually forced dark. Oh, here's where the mechanics get fun. Hold on. Right here. Now watch the background. You see those lines going over the wall? I wanted there to be a car driving by outside. However, I couldn't do that. I couldn't plan for a car to drive by outside, and I didn't want to wait. So I had... What is up with my throat right now? You know what? Oh, I'm going to grab a throat lozenge. It's getting much. Edit this out, future me. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, the lights in the background are all from like a car driving by, but I couldn't make a car drive by when I needed it to. So the way that I did it was I had a fan just outside my window. I tied like a super powerful like spotlight over the top of it and then set the fan to rotate and then put a fake tree in front of it for the light to shine through. So you're actually seeing the camera like rotate and shining through through a fake bush to get this effect. And I do it through both of these shots here. That was After Effects. I just used the weapon that I'm holding is actually my old tripod, and I used After Effects to put like some simple lightning over the top. There was something else. Why did I... Oh, that's what it was. Okay, sorry. Because the room is super well lit right now, having a spotlight type effect shining through the window wasn't going to work because, you know, you're shining light into a light. So the way that it works is all of the lights in the room that were lighting everything up were attached to a little Christmas tree like pedal connector that we had. So basically, we use it at Christmas all the time. Whenever you can step down on it, it'll turn the lights on your Christmas tree, sort of thing. And so I had the entire room wired into this pedal, so that way the light is moving around outside, and I can get a shot of me standing in the dark with the lights and everything going along the walls. And then when I needed to act, I can hit the pedal, turn the lights on in the room, and then do my thing. And then I mash the two together and darken my shot, and then add in the lights from the light outside, if that makes any sense. Basically, this is why I love this video, is because I just had to get so creative with all of the technical that went into it. You know, having to use a foot pedal to control all the lighting in my room and stuff like this. Let's move on, shall we? Yeah, these are all clone shots right here, so there's just one of me in the room. I forgot I had those gloves. Wow. And I have no explanation for that. I just wanted like a fun horror-esque movie type thing, and so I went for the was it a dream? It might have been a dream. No, it wasn't a dream effect. It makes zero sense in the outcome, but you know, whatever. Here is another creative shot. Remember, only one of me working on this. So the way that this shot was done was I took a long shot picture of me lying in bed and then moved the camera further back and got a picture of my Rubik's Cube sitting on the desk, and then cut out the cube, added it to the first shot, and then faked a camera move. So the camera is actually sitting completely still right now, but by, you know, messing with some visual graphics, I can make it look like it's moving or like someone's, you know, carrying it backwards. My acting is so perfect in this film. Okay, this... I'll show you on the next one. It's easier to see on the next shot. Hold on. Oh, I don't know if you saw... Hold on, let me go back a little bit. So this was... The shirt that I'm wearing right now is the... The shirt that I'm wearing right now is the old Uncle Aaron shirt that I used to wear. I've since made a new one, but one of the reasons why was this movie right here. When I got to show it at the talent show, a couple of people thought that I was actually sponsored by In-N-Out because of can you see that on the sleeve, like right down there? That's actually the In-N-Out logo, and it was the shirt that I got this from was from a big Christian event that was hosted by In-N-Out or sponsored by one of those two. And so, you know, everybody got shirts with the In-N-Out logo on them, and everybody who saw the video thought, what, are you sponsored by In-N-Out all of a sudden? Like, it completely threw off the the story. So ended up finally just going, forget it, I'll get yeah, there we go, that's the In-N-Out logo. Okay, yeah, so I finally made that shirt again recently. This shot right here, I have no way of attaching my camera to the ceiling, and so what I did was I completely pulled my mattress and everything off of the bed, put it on the ground, like just below it, stood the bed frame up on end, and then attached my camera to the end of the bed frame so it would look down on me over this. So this is all... So right now I am lying on the floor is the idea. And yeah, so all of the overhead shots were done with my camera attached to my bed frame. And I have a picture somewhere. I'll post that. You know what? Yeah, future me, put the picture up of the setup that I had for this, because it's actually really cool looking when you look at it and see how I did the overhead shots on a very last minute notice. And this was all done. So the blanket on this is completely fake, because I didn't want the bottom of it moving with me since I'm no longer attached to the bottom half of me. So all of that was done in After Effects and just did like some warping, which I could have done a much better job on, but this is actually one of the hardest pieces that I had to act in, and I'll show you why in just a minute or so. But you know, trying to make it look like I'm half a person really is difficult to act on. So that was all done with just what was that? That was, I took a picture of me lying in bed and then did that motion so I could like cut off between me and then add in some... Oh, and then got a back shot of the bed itself without me in the blanket so I could have the blank space between us. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh, this was a hard shot. So blanket was real, but a different shot. And so I had, let's see, I had one shot of me lying in bed with my legs completely still, and I kind of threw the blanket, or tossed the blanket over myself. And then a second shot of me, like, pretending to hold the blanket and then rolling out of bed because, yeah, pretending to hold the blanket wasn't anywhere on the bed, and then I roll out, because if I actually threw the blanket on me, blanket would have come with me. So and again, rolling is super hard when you're trying to act like this. Like, all arm power. and then had to just fake the movement of the blanket in the background with the bed. Oh, and remember, only one of me in the room. So that camera trick right there was done by, after I rolled out of the bed, wait for everything in the background to settle, and then get up, focus the lens onto the phone, then get back on the floor and do this thing. So that was probably like 2 minutes of work crammed into a couple of seconds. Oh, you know what's funny? Right here, I actually dialed 911 by accident. So that footage of me hitting send was real. I accidentally called 911, and I'm sitting there in shock. Like, I quickly hit end before it could go through, but I'm sitting there in shock thinking, did it call them? Are they going to call me back? What happens here? What do I do? Like, I completely freaked out. Okay, so this is the shot I want to show you. For this shot, I had to get on the ground and, like, army crawl across the room to my desk with a phone in my hand, so I can't fully articulate that, and I can't use my legs. So give that a shot sometime. It is not as fun or easy as it looks. But yeah, for the effect, all I had to do was, climb out a shot, or crawl out a shot, get a blank shot of the background, and then cut off myself at the waist.
Emergency. This is Linda.
Okay, so meet Hannah. Thank you, Hannah, for being a part of this project. And meet Beanie Me in the background, eating a Subway sandwich and working on the computer. That was supposed to be somebody else. I forget who. Like, somebody else was there at the time, and I'm like, oh, can you wear this beanie and eat a sandwich in the background? And he's like, yeah, I can do that. And then, like, he had to go home or something, so yeah. What are you gonna do? Oh, there is the Hidden Canada Dry. I'm working on the music. That's actually the old logo. Wow. I have so many of the new logos now. That's actually a wall of them up there. I don't know if you guys have seen my wall of Canada Dry up there. I'm working on it still. Anywho. Back to the video.
Hello. Linda.
Jeez. I really needed to lose weight for this video. Okay, so a lot of this is probably some of the harder stuff, or at least the more time consuming. I would jump into the background and, climb under the covers, get a shot of just my leg, or my legs, under the blankets, and then quickly run back over into the foreground and pretend to be, cut in half. And then just cut the two together in After Effects. Pretty easy, but...
I need an ambulance.
Sir, what's your...
Oh, that was actually... Hold on. Let me go back a little bit. That light turning on that you saw wasn't my screen. My screen wasn't good enough for that.
This is Arlen.
Hold on.
I need an ambulance.
That light. That was my clamp light and the foot pedal. Again, I use that foot pedal so much in this video. My monitor wasn't bright enough to be able to make that bright of a light very noticeable, so I had to just get my clamp light and a pedal. Mr. John Doe to you at Yahoo.
Somebody broke into my house and sliced me in half at the waist.
It's funny, all of these... Just remembered this old status update. All of these scenes where I'm in my room, like, shouting at Linda on the phone, my parents are in the living room just down the hall, and they can hear me, and they're both like, is he working on a video? Like, what... Should we be concerned? No, that's ridiculous.
Mr. Minai?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, quick question. What was Patrick Swayze's last line in Ghost?
Sorry?
Wow, my wall is so empty. It's amazing how much I filled all this before I moved out. But yeah, so this is another shot. I jumped in bed, got a shot of my feet, and oh, you can't really see it in this shot, but so you see this light right here. This is the light, well, ish. I darkened it a little bit in post after I realized it was there, but that is the reflection of the light that's in the room. So remember, this room is completely well lit. Like, it's fairly bright in here, but I darkened it all just for this. Ooh. Sorry. I darkened it all just for shots like this. Just fix all that there. There we go.
Sorry?
Ghost, it was from like 19 something, I don't know. Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, Whoopi Goldberg. Swayze dies in the very beginning and spends the rest of the movie trying to save his girlfriend. Do you know what his last line was?
Sir, this number's for emergencies only.
Dang it, Linda.
Especially this part. This was really the point where my parents are getting concerned.
While my legs are in bed, 5 feet behind me. Any moment now I'm gonna die from massive blood loss, and I suddenly realize that Dante's Inferno is a terrible...
There's another reason why I like this video so much, is it's just so bizarre. That I spend the entire movie chopped in half trying to think of my last words. Like, something about this I really enjoy.
For my last words. Now, are you gonna help me or not?
See ya.
Come on, Linda. Don't make me have to use
Actually,
things.
I'm pretty sure that was Patrick Swayze's last line.
Last line in Ghost was see ya.
Oh.
His last line might have been ditto, or I love you, or something like that, actually.
Sir, where should I send the ambulance?
Linda, I'm gonna have to call you back.
Okay, sir. Wait, what?
Ah, man, that shot is so out of focus.
Lauren, wake up. There was...
Right, and motion. Oh, here we go. And this is all regular cloning stuff that I do. You can kind of see it on the back wall, but the board right here was just a fun joke. It says 3 days to retirement. And I think like 2 people actually got it, but that's an old police joke, I believe, is like somebody being shot like 3 days before retirement. So I threw that in as a little nod to it.
What's going on here? Jake, who's that in your bed? What are your last words? You have 5 seconds to live. Your loved one is holding your hand. She's listening. What are your last words? You can take my life, you can take my freedom, but you can never take my gun.
That one I actually did just have to sit down and think of. I'm like, what are some profound last words I can give for Jake? Let's go religious with it.
Dang, that's good. Thank you. Why are you slouching so badly? No, never mind. How did you come up with that? You just sat down and thought about it.
So,
Like 10 minutes. Sit with me. Do what? Sit with me.
my sisters quote that so much. That was the reason behind that line, why I went... I don't know if Batman even came out at the time, but the reason I went for the Batman voice there was just because I wrote in my script that I needed to say "sit with me" differently, and I had no idea what was going to be the best one, and so I just kind of sat there and said "sit with me" like all these different ways. And so I think I actually had like "sit with me" and stuff like that, but I ended up doing the Batman voice, and I'm like, that one's good. I like that one the most.
How do you plan to die exactly? Chopped in half.
Yeah.
By sword?
The camera is actually super pushed into my closet right now, I remember.
Kind of a makeshift lightsaber. There you go. Mace Windu and Darth Maul were both chopped in half. Yeah, but Mace Windu just screamed and Darth Maul never talks.
So, I remember this one actually kind of broke my rules. When it comes to having clone conversations, I do have a set of rules for them. One, the camera needs to constantly move around, but also I can't have more than 2 replies, because then it just, like, the timing gets too tricky. So, like, if I've got clone 1 talking and clone 2 talking together, then I've got, yada, 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 and then I need to change the camera angle. Like, I can't go any further than that. I can only do 2, because all of the timing is coming from my head. So, like, I kind of know the pacing pretty well, but I need to stick with just those 2. And did I break it there? I could have sworn I did. But you can kind of see at the end that Jake freezes, if that makes sense. Let me back up just a little bit.
There you go. There you go.
So kind of watch Jake here in the background.
Both chopped in half. Yeah, but
Right
Mace Windu just
there.
screamed and Darth Maul never talks.
Ish. That was me just pausing the video because I ran out of, like, the timing wasn't working. I think I started talking right after, something like that, so I had to freeze him as much as possible. Oh yeah, this was the first video that I ever wore makeup for. Let me show you. All right, you can kind of see it ish, but basically what I did, I went to the store and just got like a bunch of foundation and kind of evened out the color of my face, so that way it wasn't, because my skin is normally super blotchy. You can kind of see it. I'm very blotchy skin, and so I just went through and completely cleaned it up, and then added a little bit of lipstick to kind of remove some of the color in my lips, and then I went through digitally and just kind of like, slowly throughout these last scenes of the slowly throughout the last scenes of this video, you can kind of see the color slowly fading more and more up until the end where I'm like completely solid white pale.
Abandon all hope, all you enter here. Are you mad? It occurs to me that I might be, yes. Well, I think you're being a little too narrow. I mean,
I do enjoy writing the dialogue for these two.
all your stuff is focused on death. Well, what do you suggest? Broaden your search.
This is like therapy with Jake. Wow.
Okay, that's good. You can take something from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and just paraphrase it.
Oh gosh. So that effect was there's a green screen sitting behind me and the keyboard in front of me, of course. And then I took another shot of the room behind me with my, lying in bed and everything. And I had to color correct my foot. I remember that because I'm losing so much blood here. Yeah, and then just did After Effects for that motion. I could have done a lot better with that nowadays, but, time. Made this movie in 4 days.
Exactly what needed to be done. I know exactly what to do. Finally, it was over. Finally.
How did I do that? Oh my gosh. So this movement right here is actually I completely forgot. I had my camera strapped to my head for this shot. So as I'm typing, I'm actually doing this with my head, and like I had the safety strap like wrapped around me a few times looking downward to get that camera movement.
Finally, I can use these.
Oh, I forgot about that. And funny story with after I posted this, like I got some likes, it got a couple of comments, but I didn't upload the video for like another 2 or 3 days to YouTube. And so I stayed off the internet for like, or I stayed off Facebook for like a week, just to keep this up, sort of thing, just to keep up that status. And a few people actually did comment after, like, is he dead? Like, this seems to be his final words here. Like, what, should we be worried? Should we go check his house?
Jake, your work here is done. You type painful. See ya. Okay, who's this in
Yeah.
your bed?
That, I could have done that a lot better. It occurred to me in the future that this shot, I could have actually just used the blue behind me as a blue screen instead of trying to mask it like I did here. Ugh, it looks horrible.
Holy.
Oh yeah, this was actually, funny enough, this was the first video I ever did that came with a parent warning because of this shot right here. Let's pause on it, shall we? Let's stare at dead me. I think the next one's better.
Holy son of Hades.
A little bit, yeah, I like that shot. Let's pause on that for a little bit. So this was the first movie that I ever made that required, or that had a parent warning at the very beginning in like an annotation and in the description saying, hey guys, I die in this movie. So better watch it before the kids do. And I know some people will look at this and be like, this is nothing. This is totes McLame. But I don't know. To me, I don't want to, I'm not big on like telling parents what's good and what's not for their kids. So, I play it safe. I just say, you know what? I die in this movie. And if you want your kids to see that, that's fine. And if not, that's fine too. That's all on you. I think my mother had nightmares because of this scene, but that's on her.
Hades.
I believe this movie was like shortly after Jake got his last name. Jake Minotaur is his full name. And so I was trying to work in more like Greek stuff. Oh, wow, I completely forgot. All right, when he shouts that "Holy Son of Hades," that last line, and also the shout from me back in the beginning when I get attacked by the Marauder, the both of those sound clips I didn't want to record in my home because I was too embarrassed by the project, and so I went up into the hills near my house, like went hiking for a little bit with my microphone, and then shouted like up at the top of the hill so that I wouldn't bother anybody. So people who lived up in like Inland Empire area could probably hear in their backyard, "Holy Son of Hades," like way off in the distance. That's why. Oh, and the old logo. I remember this. I remember back when I still had that website, actually. Gamerboy.tk. No one could remember .tk, though, so I finally just gave up on it. Oh. And that, everybody, was Final Last Words. So, thank you for watching. I should probably say closer. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed one of my older projects that I've made. Next one on the list is... Oh, I'm actually doing a re-release next on my list. Funny enough, one of my videos, I wasn't too crazy about how it turned out later. So, you guys are going to see the newer version. I don't think I said any of that right. I am re-releasing an older project, and I'm going to do a retrospecting on it because I like it. So, hope you enjoy. That's a little something to look forward to in a couple of weeks. Thank you for watching, and have a great Fortnite.